Okay. Now, the other day I was talking about, I did a video. I don't know which ones I did. I have a little index card where I'm writing notes on this time. And, but it's about think about people who make videos and they let it out in various ways. They don't use the direct words, but they think that their audience members are fools. Seriously. They let it out in other ways, but they don't say, oh, you're all fools. No, they don't say that. But they do, because, I mean, there's some evidence to this. It's something like what I have on part of what I have on this index card I'm holding. You hear it? Well, I'm laughing. When I laugh like this, it's generally about the nerve of such people. But imagine that, and I've been harping on this, I know, for 11 years, actually. Actually 11, starting around 11 years ago, was the first time I had seen on video someone who was a swindler. You know, and I know a lot of people, they hear words like swindlers, con artists, you know, this kind of thing. They think about people that you hear songs about even, or, you know, people trying to sell you property. What's that song? Oceanfront Property in Arizona or something like that. It's a country and western song. It's an old one. But, you know, they think of people who are doing okay, what is this one called? Ponzi scheme, or, you know, something like that. But no, it can be just somebody who's making videos, and they play there's actually a word for it. Heartstring. Oh, what is the word? Heartstring something. But it's basically a swindler. Okay. A con artist. But they pull at people's heartstrings. I just saw that yesterday, by the way. I've always said they pull at people's heartstrings, but they call it heartstrings. I didn't know that part. But they do. Oh, I don't have enough money to buy my groceries and feed my kids. And then you find out their kids are working just as they are. And they have plenty of money because they go and buy groceries that are very expensive stuff. Not just your regular stuff, your expensive high-end stuff. Or not high-end, but think upper middle class stuff. Okay, or lower upper class. It's not the cheap, I'm poor and don't have enough money to buy groceries and feed my kids, and their kids are adults. Yeah. Oh man, that's one way that they do it. They think that their audience, they're all fools. Okay, because they will actually have the nerve to show them. And I've said the other ones, you know, other ones before, not all of them. Like the one that made a side salad that was $44 and some change. A side salad for 2 people. Side salad. And yes, you can make expensive side salad. But they didn't have enough money to feed their kids. Buy groceries. So, but there's more too. I've already mentioned the ones about that they got to go get their hair done because they're so stressful, and their nails done, and have spa treatments, and because it's so much stress. I'm trying to act dramatic, but I'm no good at it. I keep trying. I'm no good at it. I'm the exact opposite. But how about this one? How about they need to go have restaurants. They need to go to restaurants with their kids. You know, take one out this time, take another one out the next time, and have that mommy and me time. Because it's been so stressful. So stressful for them. And also to go and take vacation with this child. And of course, go take a vacation with the other child another time. They can't be around one another. They're adults. They're adults. And, I mean, I've been seeing these kind of things for 11 years. It's not one person. Okay. 11 years. And that's not my first rodeo with this type of person. This is one on video. And you can see those on multiple social media, period. platforms. You can see them on multiple ones. Okay. Do I need to say it again? Multiple. The nerve. I'm laughing at the nerve. It's not funny. It's not. It's disgusting. It's despicable. It needs to be called what it is. Anyway, this next one, there's a whole one about going out to eat. Well, you think, oh, okay. You know, some people, oh, I understand. You know, it's so stressful for you, so I'll send you my last dollar, even though I can't go out and eat like that. So they can go out and eat like that. What would you say? Okay, I looked it up to see, you know, like there's high-end restaurants. We're not going to talk about that. You know, with people who have have megabucks. No, you know, high-end, no. But, you know, they're right underneath that. The ones who, they're going to take somebody out to eat and splurge. Okay, they want to kind of impress them, or they want to act as though that they are at that, almost at that level of high end. Say, and I looked it up. Okay, I didn't write down all of them, but I think it was something like for a meal, it could have been for one person actually, or for two. It would be between 80 and 150 in Texas. Okay, you remember states are all different. Like, you can't compare price of Texas with that of California. I lived in California myself. I've never lived in New York, but I've heard about their prices. You can't compare these three states of how much a meal would cost that is considered expensive for your everyday person. Okay, and then there's another level underneath that, which is the more of the everyday. We're gonna grab something, a bite to eat before we go wherever, you know, no big deal. That kind of thing. I like the way I describe them. That time I'm laughing at myself. But yeah, you get the gist, I would think. I would hope. So, it's like I told Adam. Okay, there was a restaurant he and I went to on the Florida Keys. This is Texas. But we were living at the time in Florida. And probably Pembroke Pines, and or Fort Lauderdale, or Hollywood. We lived in that area. We lived in each place too, over the years back then. Visited. We'd come back to Texas, go back, this kind of thing. And we went down to the Florida Keys, and we had stopped at a restaurant. We were starving. This was back in the 1980s. And we were starving, and we stopped in one of the Keys and to have some, you know, seafood. And seafood's expensive in Texas too. But there it was, the meal for the both of us was $65, and we were like, this was 1980s, and we were like, whoa, that was expensive. It was okay, but it was still expensive. And that same meal, that same price, that cost, these days would be $190. Okay, the meal then, the cost for it was $65. Now it would be $190. But okay, you see the difference. Anyway, so I was telling Adam though, I said, what would you do if we went out to tell him about this? So if we went out and I decided that I was going to, for myself, you know, order enough food that would cost food and some soda or something. I don't drink, and I don't even drink sodas because I can't drink caffeine. I don't drink soda at restaurants, and I don't drink sugar, as I put it. I haven't since I was 25, and I'm 62. And it tastes just fine. Regular sodas, every blue moon when I tried before I had to stop drinking anything with caffeine, with caffeine, oh my, if somebody gave me the wrong one, syrup, it's awful. But anyway, if I told him, what would you do if I did a meal and, you know, what would you say to me? You know, if he and I went to eat, it's the same thing as what would I say to him. You know, if he were to do this, order $75 worth of food just for myself. food and the soda. I'm not talking about a drink. You know, I don't drink alcoholic drinks either. What would he say? He said, I would probably not say, and I'm like, right. Because he was going down this, I probably wouldn't say anything. That's what you want to eat, that's what you want to eat. No, he would say something. And so would I. If he ordered that much food just for him, his meal. You know, we're not hurting for money anymore. We've been through that when we were younger, you betcha. But now we're not. So we could do that. But that's because we worked both hard and smart. Some people say, work smart, not hard. Well, sometimes you have to do both. Period. Full stop. And we have a good life right now. And that's it. We do. But some people, these people who are these swindlers, they don't. They didn't work for this. They swindle. Okay? They think of their audiences as fools. Okay, that's blaming the victim, but yeah, that's how they see their audiences. And they go out and they buy expensive meals, like, you know, they buy this, it's not high-end, it's just under high-end, like I just explained, but it's still expensive. If for Adam and I to go out and eat, I think we both will say something if it's over $50 for the two of us, or $60. We say, wow, that was expensive. That's what he and I would do. And like I said, we're not hurting. We're comfortable. Okay, we worked to get here. We did hard work. I actually was, and people can't believe this. They couldn't believe it then, can't believe it still. At one time, I was an electrician. It's actually classified. I didn't have my license, so it's classified as electrician helper. I did electrical work for a few years here and there, like Florida, like I was mentioning. Florida Keys, I mean not Florida Keys, but Florida, Pembroke Pines, Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, that area. Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, and so on. Yeah, so, and working in Atlanta during the winter time, oh my goodness. You want to talk about cold. But I did electrical work. I worked hard. So we get to this point. And then it's nothing about jealousy. And I just had that thought hit me that some people say, you're just jealous because they're swindlers. Okay, they'll use the Bible. They'll get their Bible out and they'll lovingly caress it. Make sure they have they're videoing this. Lovingly caressing each page as they turn the pages. So dramatically. They're not saying anything. Sometimes they're not reading and they're not saying, they're just looking like they are. And then they'll put their hands together, their Bible down and their hands together, bend their head down and pray, but not say anything. But they're acting like they're praying. What does the Bible say about that? The Christian Bible? No. That's the swindlers do. Exactly. Oh my gosh, the nerve of people. So they think that their audience is fools. Is their audience are their members fools? Are they not taking accountability for what they're doing? Or is it blaming the victim? Or is it both? Or is it none of the above? But to spend that much money on a meal when you're telling your audience that you don't have money to buy your kids, who you don't say they're not adults, you just say your kids. I keep harping on this, and more. It's like I just did a video about my doctors, and I finally saw something being done about them. Long stories, 2.5 years of stories. Finally, something was said to them that was told to me by their own insurance company, and saying that my doctors were doing wrong, and it's their doctors, they're employees by them, and And it seemed like they finally were told, and they changed their ways for me to say, don't trust it the very next day, which is today, finding out something else. But I still want to see that at least something's being done. And then I was, but it didn't last long, did it? And this is something else I want to see. I want to see so fewer people who are taking advantage of other people, these swindlers. I want to see something's actually being done about that. I mean, I'm talking something legal, of course, legally being done. And I can't imagine that all these social media, and some won't refuse to call themselves social media anymore, but all these social media, I can't believe that they want their service to be thought of as a great home for swindlers who use Christianity to make their money. I wouldn't, but that's me. Okay. I don't know. Apparently so. But I've been on I had my first computer in 1982. I've seen plenty of this. I've seen plenty of this in person. You never know who, you might have somebody, say you took a class, you're getting a certification, or you're getting a degree, whatever it is. And the next thing you know, there's somebody, and you're starting to think, you're using your discernment. You use discernment. And you realize this person is just pure evil. This person is bad. This person is a swindler. But some people can't think that way. Some people don't want to think that way. Some people want to be, or wannabes. Okay, that way. They want to learn. They want that person to keep showing them so they can use the same lines. It all seems so scripted. And I've talked about this so much. I'm so tired of it. But every time I turn around, there's a new one. And this, like I said, this is not just one person. This is I've seen so many in so many ways. Not just online, not just on one social media, not just, not online, not always online. Wow, it's so disgusting. So, and the reason I keep doing it is because otherwise, how many people are talking about them? Not that many. I mean, you can find people, but they're more of a reaction channel and they're wannabes, just a different way. Some people have actually said, when I first started, when I first started seeing these things, people were saying that these were planned this way. They have the person who's doing it and the reaction channels who are complaining about them, but they're in cahoots, I like that word, cahoots with one another. They're doing it, they're planning it. Wow. Back then I was like, that was 10 years ago, I say at least, maybe 11. I was like, really? Yeah. They want to make money. And that's how they do it. Enough.